Hey everyone, it's VM Campos, magic fan, comic book fan, pop culture fan, all that good stuff. Welcome to another episode of the top comic books that you need to know about with VM Campos. Hey, that's me. So this is the show where we're going to talk about comic books, the ones that are coming out, that I'm on the lookout for, that you need to know about. We'll just talk about comics as we do every single Saturday morning or whatever time zone that you happen to be in, or even day of the week. There's some parts of the world where today is actually tomorrow, and for them, I'm yesterday to them. You know how time works. Anyway, let's talk about comic books. So if you're watching the video after it was live, don't forget to check down on the description to see the chapter stops to jump to the part of the comics that you want to, the publishers that you care about and such. I'm going to be looking at all the publishers, of course. We're going to hang out for a little while. How are you? Tell me how your week's going. How did your previous New Comic Book Day go? What are you looking forward to on the next New Comic Book Day? Hashtag new NCBD. Hashtag NCBD for the next week of comics. So this series is about looking at comics that are coming out with a focus on issue number ones, with a focus on the single issues, the floppies, although I throw in some interesting books that are out there in trade paperbacks and so forth, and of course your opinions. I value them, so we'll talk about them, but here's what we're going to look at. So first we're going to start with the final order cutoff do comics. These are the comics that you need to buy, that you need to order by this Monday, July, what is it again? It's Monday, July 13th. Ooh, Monday the 13th is even more unlucky than Friday the 13th. Did you know that? So these are the comic books that you've got to order at your comic shop by this Monday to be guaranteed a copy when it releases. So final order cutoff date is this Monday to order these. We'll also look at comics that'll be right on the shelves when you walk into the comic shop this Wednesday the 15th. Now, if you didn't pre-order those comics, you might not get them just by walking in to your comic shop. So first, we'll talk about the comic books that you need to order in advance to make sure that you can get your own copy. Again, with a focus on issue number ones and other things that might stand out. So, okay, here we go. Firepower number 1, starting with Image Comics. Firepower number 1. This is a brand new Robert Kirkman comic. So after he finished The Walking Dead, he was chilling on his millions of dollars, and then now he said, let's make more comics. So obviously he's working on other things too, like Outcast, Die, and now here's a brand new one, Firepower. He's getting art by Chris Samney and Matthew Wilson. Here's issue number 1, premiere issue. Again, this won't come out until, when is it? It's in shops August 5th, so next month. But you, of course, need to preview them in advance in order for your comic shop to know how many to order and to get you your copy. So here's a new number 1. Series premiere. All new monthly series created by Robert Kirkman and Chris Samney. The one who wields the firepower is destined to save the world. But Owen Johnson has turned his back on that life. He doesn't want the power. He never did. He only wants to spend time with his family and live his life. But unseen forces are at work to make that impossible. Danger lurks around every corner as Owen's past comes back to haunt him. Okay, so reluctant superhero, like an everyman sort of story, a brand new comic from Robert Kirkman. You know, we're used to his Walking Dead series. Here's a brand new series from Image coming out. So this is final order cutoff date this Monday. What do you think about that? Are you into a Robert Kirkman non-zombie comic? Obviously, he's worked on a few others like Battle Pope and so forth. But here's a brand new issue number 1 that you need to know about. Next up on Image. Okay, this is an issue number 2. And this is TVMA, rated R. If you're too young for this, cover your ears. Here we have the GD, Virgin Brides number 2 of 5. If you didn't read the original GD, it was a very violent story set in biblical times of Abel, from Cain and Abel from the Christian Bible, of Abel trying to live life, and he's an immortal, and it's just the world is horrific after the fall of Eden. This continues that sort of idea in these like ancient times, biblical story sort of things. Jason Aaron is the writer, and then art and cover by R.M. Guerra. To escape a wedded fate worse than death, Shari and Jael flee into the thorny wilderness beyond the secret nunnery that's all they've ever known. But the brutal old mothers of the mountain with their stone spears and bone daggers aren't about to let the bride slip away. So it's issue number 2 of 5. It's a limited series, so you still probably can get issue number 1 from the shop if you ask for it nicely, if you tell them VM Campos sent you. And it's issue number 2. If this is the same as volume 1, it's extremely violent and gory and like TVMA, rated R, NC-17. You have been warned. It's and then also if you know a little bit about the this genre or like the religion and so forth, it'll be more meaningful to you. And I read the first volume. I thought it was interesting until the very end. I thought the very end was dumb. It was kind of like an obvious kind of end, even though they built it up so very much. I hope this volume 2 is sort of a little bit more like unique, and it sounds like it is. The Virgin Brides. Okay, that's from Image. Got Ice Cream Man, of course, that one's going on. We've got Mirka Andolfo's Mercy, number 3 of 6, second printing. So if you're one of these collectors, which I know I'm a reader and a collector, and a speculator sometimes, this Mercy series has been blowing up. It's been going to second printings on issue number 3 of this limited series, and I love this cover art. Let's get a zoom in right here. So Andolfo's art is just amazing. Look at this black on black on black cover. How much more black can it be? None more black. Second printing. So if you're a collector, if you're a speculator, getting this in 9.8 is going to be a challenge, because pure black covers like this always get damaged in transit. It never seems to be to get to the shops in great condition. So if you can get this in perfect condition, that might be a very good investment. And the second printings and so forth of some of these other books can also raise in value pretty well. So I'm usually on the lookout for some of these Image books, second prints and such, and you might be too. As for the plot, the first arc of this gothic tale comes to an end. Lady Helene finds a love interest. Or is that just part of her machinations? Who are the ruthless hunters? And what are they tracking? And what's their relationship with whatever lies in the abandoned mine? So there's an abandoned mine. Lady Helene is like this evil, weird creature. She's the main character. Then there's like a homeless child that comes under her protection. And there's like a powerful woman in the town. It's kind of really hard to explain what this is about, but you should check it out, definitely. And of course, Mirka Andolfo's art is pretty amazing. This is issue number 3, end of the first arc, second print. We've got Negan Lives number 1, second print. This one's a reprint of the brand new solo Negan book. This is Robert Kirkman. Art by Cliff Rathburn. Cover art by Dave McCaig. And art and cover art by Charlie Adlard. So I'm not sure how those credits are actually spread out in the real world, but definitely Kirkman writes it. And then we've got Charlie Adlard listed right there. So he's probably doing the interior art. But then we've got this other art, Cliff Rathburn, probably variants, and then Dave McCraig as a cover artist. Another variant? I don't know how it all works. So The greatest effing comic villain of all time returns. Enough said. $4.89, second print. So if you want to get a brand new Walking Dead story, a brand new Negan story, his issue number 1, second printing, is coming out August 5th. So order it by this Monday. Final order cutoff date. See some other image things that I'm on the lookout for. Well, the new Sex Criminals, issue number 30. 30 issues of that series already. This is the end, part 5. Matt Fraction, Chip Zdarsky as the creative team on that. Is it hot in here, or is that just a variant cover by Ken Wada? It's both, because climate change is real, but also the cover is super X-y. So this is one of these that you've got to ask for it from under the cover. You've got to walk into the comic shop with your trench coat on and dark glasses and, fedora hat and ask for this Sex Criminals Triple X cover by Kevin Wada. If you don't want to get the X-rated version, you can get the regular version, which is still pretty sexy over here. Very cool art. And this is the original series. Chip Zdarsky returns for our final issue, except for the one issue that comes next. That's like a coda or reprise or something classic, whatever. The wiki, what is that? WICDIV guys just called it. Okay, so it's the final issue, sort of, but then there's going to be another issue at 31 to kind of fully wrap things up. And this is the regular cover. I like it. Very cool cover, very luminous art. And those are the 2 Sex Criminals books that are coming out in good time. So those are my picks on Image Comics. Undiscovered Country still going on. To be honest, I read issue number 1. I liked it until the very end, like the last 2 pages, and then it's more of that. And from other commentary that I've read, it's like more of that, which I didn't love. So I'm not really reading it, but this is here in issue 7. I'm interested here. Is this? I'm interested right here. I'm going to test it out right now. Is that QR code a real QR code? I'm going to get my phone and try to scan that QR code and see if it's a real code, because the barcode probably is real. Let's see if that QR code registers in my app, or is it too obscured? Let me see here. Turn on this. Google Lens, come on, tap shutter to search. It's just searching, but it's not actually analyzing the QR code. So I guess this is not a real QR code. Yeah, my app is not actually finding it, so okay, they got me. Now we're going to go on to the next comic company, Dark Horse, in just a moment, but let me do a little bit of promotion to have people come on out and hang out with us. If you also say hello to people for me and tell them to come and hang out in the chat, that'd be cool. Let's put a shout out over here to some of my favorite. Why is Lindsey Graham's tweet polluting my why is Mitch McConnell's tweets polluting my timeline? Now, I don't like the new Twitter algorithm over here, where it's like showing so many other people's tweets that I don't even care about. So thanks, Twitter, for changing things again. I just want to see the people that I care about. Yeah, why do I even bother with the why do I even bother with the regular timeline? Okay, let's see over here. We can snipe some viewers from the Marvel Comics. from the Marvel Comics. From the Marvel Comics tweets. So let's try to get some people to come hang out with us as we talk comics, because I want to hear your picks as well. I want to hear your picks for the top comics, so let me just do a little bit of self-promo right here to have people come to hang out with us, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on the comics that you're looking for. And we'll just mention a couple more people over here and we'll get back to the show. Right there we go. So let's get back to the show. Okay, so the next publisher over here, we're going to look at Dark Horse. Now, Dark Horse has not been publishing very many single issues recently. Mostly trade paperbacks, but it's starting to come back over here. So here's what I'm looking forward to, definitely. The Alien original screenplay. They have recently published the David Fincher version of Alien 3, not the David Fincher, the William Gibson. Fincher did work on Alien 3, but they published recently the William Gibson version of Alien 3, and now they've unlocked from the vault the original Alien script. So this is a comic that I'm looking forward to right here. This is from Dark Horse, and it's basically an alternate retelling. It says here, the adapted from the original 1976 screenplay by Dan O'Bann and author of Mobius is the Long Tomorrow and co-writer of Total Recall and Return of the Living Dead in its variant cover. So I'm totally looking forward to this one. This is like an alternate telling of the Alien movie from the original creator, and I love it that Dark Horse is sort of opening up the vaults and showing these new this new interpretation of the Alien series. Did you ever read the Alien 3 comic that came out 1 or 2 years ago? I did, and I thought it was a very cool, like, different look at what the Alien 3 movie could have been. It really felt like it should have been. That would have been maybe even better than what the actual movie came out, and most people agree that Alien 3 is pretty bad. What do you think? What did you like? Did you like Alien 3 or did you like Alien Resurrection better? I'd love to hear that. Anyway, here's the comic that's coming out from Dark Horse. I'm going to be on the lookout for this one. Final order cutoff date is this Monday, and then it ships on August 5th, so that one's going to be on my list. And there's a variant cover, although I don't think this is the final image, but this is like, what am I even looking at here? This is the original space jockey design, and look at the humans down there as well. So this looks like Groot, but in the Alien world, and this is from the original creator. So that's what I'm looking for right there in Dark Horse Comics. If you're looking for other things here, we got a bunch of trade paperbacks. Let's see, what else do I like in with Dark Horse? Well, Return of the Wizard King, Chad Corey. This is a prose novel. The gladiator sold his soul for revenge. The knight's a bigot. The dwarf only cares about regaining his honor. Even the wizardess seems too bookish for anyone's good, but they've all been hired by a blind seer to retrieve some forgotten knowledge long hidden away in a jungle-strangled ruin. So here's from the Wizard King Trilogy number 1, Return of the Wizard King, Chad Corey. This is being published by Dark Horse Comics. And again, there's not a lot of Dark Horse stuff coming out. They've kind of really been in a lull, unfortunately, so hopefully they will start publishing, ramping back up again. But I'm looking for Alien original screenplay coming out from them. What about you? What are you on the lookout for in Dark Horse Comics? Moving on to the IDW. Here's what we've got in IDW. The new Crow series has been out. That's kind of cool. Marvel Action. Okay, here's what I'm looking forward to with no amount of irony. My Little Pony Transformers #1 of 4, Friendship in Disguise. See, this is what I love about comics, that like they can be like totally WTH and there's a comic for everyone. And when would you ever think that a comic with My Little Pony meeting Transformers would exist? But I love it. Back when the original Transformers debuted in the 80s, it was like mind-blowing to see Spider-Man in issue #2, I believe, of Transformers, 1985 or so. And I remember seeing that on the comic book shelves back in the day, and like, Spider-Man and the Transformers? What? And now here we have, 30 years later, My Little Pony plus Transformers. So it's exactly what it is, what it seems. When Queen Chrysalis casts a spell looking for more changelings, she accidentally interfaces with a malfunctioning space bridge. What does this mean for our favorite fillies? There are suddenly a bunch of Autobots and Decepticons in Equestria. And as the dust settles, Rarity and RC find themselves teaming up against a hostile Decepticon force. So again, this is hilarious. This is what I love about comics. This is from IDW, written by James Asmus, Ian Flynn, art by Jack Lawrence, and cover art by Tony Fleece. What do you think about this? Like, honest opinion. Love it, hate it, amazing, tragic? Like, this is the world of comics, and I love it. I love this stuff. Let's look at that cover one more time. We've got, Megatron and Optimus Prime and Fluttershy and Applejack and Pinkie Pie, and they're looking at, that's, what's that thing called again? The Unicron thing or something? Anyway, what do you think about this? Transformers versus Transformers and My Little Pony, Friendship in Disguise. Hilarious. Thank you, IDW, for publishing that and changing my life. Oh, finally, Read Only Memories #4 of 4. I was reading this series and I loved it. And finally we're going to get issue #4, so obviously you need to go back to the previous issues to see what's going on with this. And this is also based on the game 2064 Read Only Memories, which is doing pretty well. Here is the sort of side story of the game. We have Sina Grace and artist Stefano Simeone. They bridge the gap between the game and the next one, Nero Diver. The startling truth behind the harvest and the transference of human minds to robot bodies has turned Valentine's Day bloody, with Lexi at the center of a storm of a conspiracy, and Hetty, the robot, waiting for news from her human lover back in Santa Cruz. Difficult choices lie ahead. So I've been reading this, I've been enjoying it. It's got the main story and then a sort of little side story at the back. This cover looks amazing. This is by Stefano Simeone as the artist, but I've been loving more the Neofotizzo cover, which they don't have a preview of here, no preview, but that one is in like a 16-bit Super Nintendo style that I've loved. And so that's the one I'm going to get. And if you haven't been reading the series, you're going to be lost on issue 4 of 4. But you can perhaps go back to the previous ones or wait for the trade paperback that's coming soon, I'm sure, and then check it out. We've got Sonic the Hedgehog #30. That one's plugging along. If you're into Sonic, you can get that. It has the Metal Virus. The Metal Virus saga is over, but that doesn't mean things are back to normal. So issue #30, sort of an anniversary issue. That one's coming out. Star Wars Clone Wars #1 of 5, second printing. Beautiful Derek Charm cover art. Look at those droids. Like, we are dead. So this has got a really long title. Star Wars Adventures, The Clone Wars, Battle Tales, 1 of 5. And these were being published, are being published this whole month. There's 5 weeks of comics, 5 Wednesdays, and IDW is publishing one every week. And, things got messed up with the coronavirus and all of that, so they're publishing them again now. And This is second printing. So it's just a lot of little side stories of various battles of the Clone Wars from, the Genndy Tartakovsky style of things. And I'm totally on board for that. I picked up issue number 1 first printing. But here's the second printing if you're interested. And then the next issues are coming out. I love this cover over here. So because we're in week 3, 1, 2, 3 next week, we're gonna see number 3. And I love this cover here. Here's Amidala, and she looks pretty cool, pretty tough, like almost Sith-esque. Why do we assume that every Star Wars character that wears, dark clothing is in their Sith mode? But I love that Derek Charm cover art right there. It still freaks me out to see the Disney logo on anything Star Wars, but Disney has been under... Star Wars has been under Disney's thrall since 2012? 2 more years and that's 10 years? What do we think about that? That Star Wars is part of Disney. Obviously that's 8 years that's been happening, but I'm still freaked out about it whenever I see the Disney logo on Star Wars stuff. And lastly, at IDW, the Usagi Yojimbo comic, the ongoing comic. This is volume 4, I believe, because it was first on Fantagraphics, then Mirage, then Dark Horse for literally 20 years, and then now they're at IDW with a new number 1. 35-year-old creator-owned character still going along. I've been reading this one, enjoying it a lot. Now, I don't know if this is a typo. I don't know if someone needs to be fired for this typo, but we've got The Return, Part 1 of 43? I don't think that's correct. Stan Sakai, the creator here, has been doing these short Part 1 of 3, Part 1 of 2, 1 of 1 stories in the new relaunch, and he usually has been doing that for years. And I think this was a typo. I think someone was typing on their keyboard, and then for whatever reason they typed 4-3. This is probably 1 of 4. If it's 1 of 3, okay, even better. Anyway, Usagi is back in his home province for a pilgrimage to his late lord's gravesite. However, wearing the Mifune clan crest in Lord Hikiji's territory has made him an enemy. So his crest right there is from his slain lord. That's why he's a Ronin. He has no lord because his lord was killed. He was a samurai, but his lord was killed, so he's wandering the countryside. Now beaten and almost near death, he has made his way to the one place he had once been avoiding, the village where he grew up. Bittersweet memories awaken with his longtime love until the village becomes embroiled in a plot to assassinate an emissary of the shogun. So epic stories as always. Stan Sakai's book, you feel like you learn some authentic Japanese medieval Japanese history by reading the comic, and then of course the art is amazing, and I totally recommend it. I've been reading it, and you should check it out. What do you think about Usagi Yojimbo? Have you ever read his books? He's been around since 1984. I have his first appearance that I picked up with in last year on Thoughts and Images number 2, the Steve Galacci anthropomorphic anthology. So next up we're going to look at DC. Well, let's do DC Comics now, then we'll pause. DC Comics has totally abandoned Diamond, so if you want to get DC Comics, you have to go through their other distributors, which people are saying, WTF, why would you do that? Why would you stab us in the back, DC? Are you trying to kill the comics industry? I don't know where I fall on that personally. I do believe that the monopoly of Diamond is not the best it could be. I wish there was better competition, but I think DC did it the wrong way. I don't know, it's a thorny issue. Anyway, the next books that are here are Strange Adventures, and these covers have been amazing. I haven't been reading the book, to be honest, but I've enjoyed these covers where it's like 2 alternate covers, like the good cover and then the bad cover, and it's just like these 2 pretty amazing covers. And this is the only book that's being released on here that we find in Diamond in Previews World. So any of you reading Strange Adventures over there? Love to hear about it. I've always been intrigued by the covers that I see, but I haven't really actually picked it up. This is issue number 4 of 12. It's a maxi series. That's pretty cool right there. So those are the things coming out on DC. Let's do a little pause where I will do a little bit let's do a little bit of self-promo, a little bit more self-promo to have people come and hang out. And if you also shout out to people to come hang out with us, that would be cool. Let's talk about comics together. So let me put some of this. We'll get back to the show one moment. We'll look at some Marvel comics right here. And let's get some people to come and hang out. And then we'll get back to the show. There we go. So, okay, let's get back to the show. So once again, welcome everyone. I'm VM Campos. I talk about comics. My YouTube channel's about comics and Magic the Gathering. Longtime comic fan since the 80s, mostly Marvel, but I pick up a little bit of everything. Spider-Man is number 1, of course. And I talk about the comic books that are coming out next week that you need to tell your comic shop about. Tell them VM Campos sent you, hey, this new comic's coming out, get it for me. So these are the final order cutoff date comics. These are the ones that if you order by this Monday the 13th, you should be guaranteed a copy of it when it releases. And then, of course, we'll also look at some of the ones that will be on the shelves this Monday. But if you didn't pre-order them, you might not get them just by walking in. So we'll look at both. Right now we're at Marvel Comics. So what am I looking forward to here? Black Cat number 12. So Black Cat ongoing series has been going on for a little while, and I love this cover right here. This is Felicia Hardy. Black Cat stole Iron Man's armor, basically, and she's got this amazing Black Cat armor. I totally love this. I love this cover so much. I love like the motion blur of the movement, like it really looks like she's coming at you to get you, flying with her repulsor, cat claws, and then like the purple background and all of that. I love that as well. I just love this cover. Now it is on issue number 12. To be honest myself, I was reading the first 4 issues or so, and then I kind of fell off. But here it is, the latest issue. Well, she did it this time. Black Cat stole an Iron Man armor from Iron Man, and he is not pleased. So she's on the run, well, flying actually, from Iron Man through Manhattan, but also still on the run from the Thieves Guild, so it's tough being Felicia Hardy right now. And it's possible the armor wasn't what she was stealing from Iron Man. Rated teen. So, love this cover. There's also the regular cover over here. I believe that's a J. Scott Campbell cover. I think he's doing all the covers at the moment. Yeah, it's J. Scott Campbell. J. Scott Campbell cover. Let's get a zoom in on that. He's kind of been doing this style a lot, about like a Dutch angle style recently. And there's Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark. So yep, there's Black Cat. Looking forward to that one. There's a trade paperback, of course, of the first... How many are they putting here? This reprints 6 through 10. So they're putting 4 issue and an annual. So you can catch up with all of those. Captain America Marvel Zombie variant. Pretty epic right here. I have not been reading this one. This is on issue number 21. This is the All Die Young continues as the time when Steve Rogers must pick up the shield and the stripes once more draws nigh. Variant cover. So myself, I'm not reading a lot of the Marvel books. The big event Empire is going on. What about yourself? Are you checking out Empire? A lot of variants with Empire. Yep. So, okay, here's what I'm looking for. Giant Size X-Men #1 Phantom X. This is Parental Advisory. Jonathan Hickman and Rod Rice take on the world. The hit creative team of Jonathan Hickman and Rod Rice turn their attention to the covert activities of the Weapon Plus program's Weapon 13, a bred killer who chooses the life of a gentleman super thief, Phantom X, has always defied expectations. For example, who would expect him to break into the world, the artificial realm of his creation? And then again, and then again. Parental Advisory. So I love this cover. Looks really cool. This is an issue #1 that I'm looking forward to. There's a variant as well. Which do you like better? Breaking through the clock sort of thing. I like that. Character looks pretty cool. I like the design of the character, and this cover over here is pretty cool as well. So I'm looking forward to those #1s. Immortal Hulk trade paperback. There's an issue #1 over here, Lords of Empire Messiah. The eve of Koi's ascension is at hand, but when the trials are interrupted by an unexpected interloper, Mantis, who will win this battle of wills? Don't miss out as mother and son go head to head, revealing secrets that will shape the course of the galaxy. So again, I'm not reading Empire at the moment. If you are, let me know. What do you think about it? But here's an issue #1, and I'm always on the lookout on those to get on the ground floor of a comic. Marvel has been sort of republishing their 90s stuff with a new cover and such. Here's Hulk Future Imperfect from 1992. It collects issue #1 and 2. It's sort of like a mini trade paperback. A mini trade, and it's collecting a couple of books from back in the 90s. We've got Jorge Perez on writing, on art, and then Peter David Ryder with superstar In-Hyuk Lee as the cover artist. So this is like the first appearance of the Maestro, the future evil Hulk. That one's coming out right there. We'll look at a few more Marvel books, but I actually wanted to mention over here. Let's publish that one right there. There we go. Okay, so what else are we looking at in Marvel Comics over here? We've got Old Man Hawkeye, trade paperback, collecting that. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Dark Temple trade, that one's coming out. If you're into the trades, this one, Matthew Rosenberg, written by Marco Cicchetto, doing some art on that. So Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, the third-person action-adventure Star Wars title from LucasArts. We have this is issues 1 through 5 with parental advisory. I'm surprised about that. When does a Star Wars comic get parental advisory? Have any of you read that? Or played the game, I guess? Like, why would this get a parental advisory? But anyway, there's the trade paperback. Star Wars #5 is coming out. That's the new ongoing series. This is the variant cover, the 40 Years of Empire Strikes Back. There are 36 of these covers coming out, and this is the comic that is ongoing after the end of Empire Strikes Back. So after reaching 75 issues, the recent Star Wars comic now rebooted with a new #1, which is taking place after Empire Strikes Back. So that's issue #5 there. I kind of love that cover here. Oops, there's only a small one there, but it's what happened? Oops, Why did that flip over? Sorry about that. What happened? Let's get back to that. Here we go. Okay, so looking forward to that new Star Wars comic, issue number 5. Also the trade paperback. So Jedi Fallen Order. If you played the game, you might want to get the comic. It's in a trade paperback now. This is one of these like WTH covers. Like, what is going on in this cover? Yeah, something's going on here. I was view image. Yeah, why is it doing that? Anyway, okay. Oh, I see it over here. So this is Spider-Woman versus Blade, and Deadpool is officiating. That is hilarious. Like, what is this even about? Perfect rendition of the Wesley Snipes Blade, I might say. Epic fail though, because Spider-Woman's outfit currently is not the black and red one. She's got the red and yellow one. She's currently got this really cool like black and red one, kind of like a Miles Morales style. Really cool new costume on her. But anyway, yeah, this is Strike Force. So I'm not reading this book, Battle on Monster Isle, but I just have to point out that cover because it looks pretty epic. We've got Thor number 3, third printing. Okay, so this is the speculator collector in me speaking at the moment. Several years ago in 2014, I guess, when Marvel was kind of putting out a lot of brand new things like Spider-Gwen and such, a lot of those issues went into third printings when Squirrel Girl came back and such. They put out like third printings and so forth, and nowadays those are kind of valuable. People, the collectors, not only wanted, volume, that number plus first printing, they wanted second printing, third printing, etc. Spider-Gwen, Edge of Spider-Verse, I believe, went up to like 5th printing, 6th printing maybe, and even those are big bucks. First printing, of course, is like $200, but even like 5th printing is like $50. So I'm saying that because here we have third printing of the new Thor series, which I think is doing pretty well. And here's third printing. It's this style of like blueprint, which this is not really blueprint, but that's kind of what people call it. I honestly think it's a little bit lazy. I don't think it's as good as the other blueprints that they did before. With cape, without cape, ram horns, and engraved darker metal. But anyway, I bring this up because it's third printing, and third printing oftentimes is getting up there in value. Anything that has first printing, second printing, third printing, 5th printing obviously means people want the book. So here we have Thor number 3, third printing. We've got Donny Cates writing on that, and people say Donny Cates can do no wrong. What do you think? Do you think Donny Cates is the second coming of Marvel Comics writers? I know he's got his hands on a bunch of things. Venom, Thor, etc. But here's Thor number 3. Third print, the Nick Klein cover as my recommendation. And if you want like a trade paperback, we've got Tomb of Dracula number 4. This is by Marv Wolfman, etc. Gene Colan, cover art. This is the classic Tomb of Dracula 1972 comic. So if you want to read something different, if you're maybe burnt out on like the epic universe spanning storylines that are going on at the moment, how about Dracula? How about Marvel Comics Dracula? So if you didn't know, yes, Dracula is part of the Marvel universe, which means that one day we will see Dracula in the MCU. Yeah, right, that's a joke. But here we have a brand new trade paperback from Marvel. Tomb of Dracula from 1972, issues 36 to 54. Doctor Strange, number 14. Dracula Lives, number 12 to 13. And Legion of Monsters, number 1. Parental Advisory. So trade paperback volume 4. Classic 70s Dracula. So what do you think about that? Have any of you ever read the classic Dracula comics from back in the day? It's just kind of interesting to think how in the 70s Marvel thought, hey, let's make some horror comics and let's put Dracula here because it's public domain, and let's put the Wolfman and so forth. And so yeah, Dracula's part of the Marvel universe. Hilarious. Moving over to Dynamite. We've got a bunch of The Boys omnibuses. So shout out to Gem Mint Collectibles. He loves his omnibuses. Haven't seen if he's been buying these or not, but they're out here. The Boys, Garth Ennis and Derek Robertson. And these appear to be signed as well. All new printing, collecting the first 14 issues of the Amazon show. So, yep, that's the series that's out at the moment. Omnibuses galore. Dynamite publishes a bunch of these Red Sonja Vampirella books and such. And we've got the Killing Red Sonja number 3. This is the homage cover. That's an homage to classic Batman cover, I believe. Batman and Robin, right? Some old vintage Batman comic. I have not been reading this one. I've been reading Vengeance of Vampirella. I've been enjoying that. And I pick up a Red Sonja book here or there, but I haven't been reading this one. Didn't really interest me too much. But if you're a Red Sonja fan, those are out there. Okay, here's one that's pretty cool. We've got Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys, Death of Nancy Drew, number 3. So a whip smart noir and a Watchmen-esque deconstruction of some of the classic tropes from your childhood that never stops being fun at the same time. Frad Van Lente, quote on that. Nancy Drew's hometown of River Heights is supposed to be a small, boring community. But as Frank and Joe Hardy make their way through the place, chasing a criminal known cryptically as the Barber, who they believe is Nancy's murderer, they quickly realize how dangerous it actually is. So this is like this meta story. The Hardy Boys meet Nancy Drew, a deconstruction of the genre, playing on the tropes if you ever read the original, YA books. This is a series that's out from Dynamite. Did you ever read any Nancy Drew books back in the day, or what about Hardy Boys? Those have been around since... How long have the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew been out? Since like the 50s and the 60s, I think. Anyway, they're back in comic book form. Going over to Boom Studios, there's a bunch of books here on Boom, but the one that I like, we've got... There's no cover for it here, but we've got Buffy the Vampire Slayer Willow number 1, second printing, written by Mariko Tamaki, and art by Nacha Bustos, cover art by Naomi Franquise. No image to show you here, but it's a new number 1. It's a second printing. And if you're into Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you gotta get that. If you loved Firefly, we've got the Firefly Legacy Deluxe hardcover, written by Joss Whedon and Zach Whedon, and Patton Oswalt, and Brett Matthews, Jim Kruger. So this collects Serenity, Those Left Behind 1 through 3, Serenity, Better Days 1 through 3, Serenity, Shepherd's Tale, Serenity, Float Out number 1, Serenity, Leaves on the Wind 1 through 6, No Power in the Verse 1 through 6, and more rare stories. It is $75, but it collects a bunch of the Firefly comics in one deluxe hardcover edition. So as I said, I'm mostly looking for number 1s and such, floppies. 7 Secrets number 1. Here's a new number 1. This is by Tom Taylor, writer. Danielle D. Nicuolo as the artist. For fans of Once and Future and Undiscovered Country, comes an all-new original series from the number 1 New York Times bestselling author Tom Taylor about 7 powerful secret words. 7 powerful secrets, words, wonders, weapons, and worse, with the power to change the world. So that's a new issue number 1 that's coming out by best-selling authors and such, and writers and so forth, and that's one to check out coming out from Boom Studios. There's a secret spoiler variant that your pal VM Campos is telling you about right here. This is the nothing is revealed here. Yeah, it's not really saying anything about what it is, but it's the secret spoiler variant. So to be guaranteed a copy of this, you gotta call your comic shop, and there's a comic shop locator right there, and tell them VM Campos told me about the secret spoiler variant cover for 7 Secrets #1. Please order it for me. Order me 10 copies. So this issue is coming out, variant cover, and now you know all about it. Now these are sort of like the Random Companies comics over here. Let me pick out a few. If you're into Agretsuko, we've got her comic coming out. I love these covers. I love the art as well. This series is so funny. I love it. Issue #5. There's various ones out here. I just see these and they make me smile. This is from Oni Press, so I'm recommending that one. Got a bunch of the usual Archie books. If you want a trade paperback to binge, Archie Explorers of the Unknown. Reggie, put down that dynamite. You're gonna blow us up. An action-packed adventure begins. And we actually have a preview of it over here. So it's the... So I see. Okay, so we've got Red, Spike, Angel, Nitro, Wheels, Gizmo, and Squint. Jughead has never looked so tough. Story by Rich Margopoulos and pencils by Rex Lindsay. So if you're into Archie comics, here's a trade to binge. Arc World #1. This one seemed really interesting. A bunch of variant covers. Launching the all-new Archaeopunk genre. When a discovery turns our understanding of history upside down, we meet a couple who abruptly finds themselves swept up in a deep state conspiracy that threatens their world. Only the year is 11,000 BCE, and their advanced world is nothing like we have been told. Nor does our couple know the role they will play in the survival of society's knowledge in the years to come. This is pretty interesting. It's like the past, an advanced past that we never knew existed. Basically, art looks pretty cool. The story seems like totally interesting, and that guy is like ripping out a plant from his eyeball. So I'm on board on that. There's various covers. I like them all. Not sure which I would get. This is like beautiful. This is like mixing together like Mesoamerican, pre-Columbian, indigenous styles, but with motorcycles. Hey, that kind of reminds me like Akira, Battle with the Clown and such. And then there's these other covers. Yeah, all of these covers look really cool. I'm not sure which I would get, but seems very interesting. Okay, this is the one I'm really looking forward to as well. Bad Mother #1. Krista Faust, writer, and Mike Deodato, cover and interior. This is one of 5 from artist from AWA. A nerve-wracking thriller from crime writer Chris Faust and blockbuster artist Mike Deodato Jr. April Walters is a hit-and-run victim of life, a middle-aged soccer mom whose inner fire has been snuffed out by her dreary suburban existence. When her teenage daughter goes missing under mysterious circumstances, April embarks on a harrowing mission to find her, a journey that takes her through the underbelly of her suburban community and sets her on a collision course with a massive crime syndicate and lethal matriarch. Tested to her limits and beyond, April discovers that hell hath no fury like a mother scorned. And then the subtitle right here, Baking Bad. So I'm totally on board with this. This is like epic. This is like one of these stories that takes the real world and just flips it on its head. Here's like a photo realistic cover art, and again, I love it. Baking Bad. So that's issue number 1. Over from AWA. So you got to support your smaller publishers. They've got a lot of big names behind the scenes. I'm blanking on at the moment, apologies, but I know that they've got a lot of big names there. You should totally check them out. There's a lot of new books that they're publishing, such as Year Zero. So check those out. So what else did I like over here? Okay, so we've got the Cimmerian. This is Ablaze's version of Conan. Conan is public domain. Some of the stories are public domain. So Ablaze is publishing them as the Cimmerian instead of Conan. And this these are stories that were originally published in the 30s. And notice the blurb here. Robert E. Howard's Conan is brought to life uncensored. Discover the true Conan, unrestrained, violent, and sexual. Read the stories as he intended. So this is a new number 1. There's a lot of new number 1s because he's got People of the Black Circle, Queen of the Black Coast, one other one that I'm forgetting at least. But here's a brand new issue number 1 to get in on the ground floor. So originally by Robert Howard, adapted by Sylvain Runeberg, and art by J. Kwong Park. So I picked up the Queen of the Black Coast and I liked it a lot. And there was also Cimmerian Red Nails. Yeah, there was Red Nails. I didn't get a chance to pick it up, but I liked the previews that I read. And there's a lot of these beautiful covers to enjoy. Look at this one. This is by Belen Ortega. Get a zoom in on that. Close up. Beautiful. So I would check these out. I kind of don't like these homage covers. This is obviously Detective Comics number 27 homage. And they also did Action Comics number 1 homage. I don't know, I just don't feel that this character really fits with it. So, to each their own. Moving forward. Okay, here's a new Men in Black comic. So, if you didn't know, the Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones comic. And who was the new one? Rosario Dawson and Hemsworth? Who was in the new Men in Black? Anyway, if you didn't know, Men in Black was based on a comic book. One of these underground comic books, one of these independent comic books was published in the 90s, I think, maybe late 80s. And so from Zenoscope, we've got a new number 1. Hans Rodenoff and Adam Goldberg, writers. Interior art by Alan Otero. Amazing cover art by Leonardo Colapietro. Let's get a close-up here. This looks epic. Pretty amazing. Men in black suits are almost synonymous with UFO sightings. Over the years, it has been said they have urged many witnesses to remain silent of unexplainable phenomena. Cases of contact with them appeared throughout history. So this is a one-shot Men in Black. I'm totally on board on this one. There's a couple covers. I kind of like that cover better than this one. But this is like more reminiscent of... This is more reminiscent of like the movie and the comics, and this cover is something else. So I'm gonna check that out. So Men in Black. What's the official title? Conspiracy Men in Black one shot. Let's see, I cannot zoom in on Destiny Lovers. They will shut me down. What are there some other number ones that I'm looking forward to? Horizon Zero Dawn. Here's the Artgerm cover. Beautiful cover. A brand new comic series based on the award-winning game by Guerrilla. Aloy and Talana return in a new story set after the events of the game. Nature has reclaimed the planet. Awe-inspiring machines dominate the land as humanity fights for survival in this new Earth. Co-created by one of the writers of the game, Ann Toole. Horizon Zero Dawn Free Comic Book Day #1 ties into this brand new #1. So brand new #1 issue. It's a sequel to the game. Beautiful art. And then, of course, intriguing story. So there's several variant covers. Perhaps the Peach Momoko cover would be the one that you might be interested in. Peach is doing some amazing art, amazing covers. I wish they were doing also the interior art, but a Peach cover is a thing of art. And then all of these other ones as well. There's also like this blue line sketch version. Let's see this one. Pretty cool. Jungle Fantasy Vixens #1 Century Nude version cover, without any covers to look at there, but you can research those on your own. There's several of those covers. They're $24 each. If you got a few bucks for them, there you go. This is not a new #1, but Unsacred #7. I've loved these books a lot. Mirka Andolfo. Here's another Mirka Andolfo book. This one is over at Ablaze. So we got Damiano the Devil and Angelina the Angel, and in this world there's angels and devils. They live together and so forth. It's cute, it's fun, it's sexy, it's European. She's Italian after all, and you know their style of comedy and sexiness is interesting to kind of see different cultures and such. And so basically the first several issues were them about dating, and then eventually they got married, and then now they're expecting a child, and it's just a fun, sexy, funny comic book. If you're a fan of Mirka Andolfo's Mercy and Unsacred, Unnatural, try Unsacred. The extraordinary talent of Mirka Andolfo, who worked on Unnatural, DC Bombshells, and Mercy, brings to life heaven and hell filled with humor and lovable characters. The lovely new couple will soon be new parents, so it's now time for the whole family to come together and support them. But of course, when it comes to family, especially when there's devils and angels involved, nothing ever quite goes as planned. Several variant covers on that, and I think there's also a spoiler on one, so I won't zoom in on that. But that's one I'm looking forward to. So I can't possibly cannot zoom in on that one. But Money Shot #7 is a series that is very interesting. It's basically Star Trek, but what if it was porno? And it's basically exploring the cosmos. And okay, I can't zoom in on it. I think YouTube will shut me down. So the tagline is something like, to boldly go where no one has gone before, to meet new civilizations and F it. So it's like a sexy comic all about space exploration and doing it with aliens from all over the galaxy. So once again, comic books. Okay, here's a few that I love. Possessed #1 and #2. You'll be able to get these right here. In Nazi-occupied Budapest, a young woman sees her mother and father brutally murdered by an SS officer. She escapes with her grandfather and the help of a rabbi. Filled with rage and hatred, the grandfather asks the rabbi to help, and he shows them an ancient box that contains a demon filled with hate and violence. They can have the revenge they want, but only by giving up their sense of right and wrong. horror master Steve Niles pairs up with his criminal macabre artist, Gyula Nemeth, in this poignant and terrifying tale of family driven to rage and vengeance. This extra-packed comic includes 32 pages of story, Steve's script, and a peek at Gyula's preliminary art in prestige format. So issues 1 and 2 are available to be ordered, and they seem very cool. That's from Clover Press. Rick and Morty presents Bird Person number 1. It's Bird Person's rite of passage. See Bird Person's growth from bird teen to bird adult and a friend to Rick Sanchez, but only after they go through an incredible adventure that unites them forever. So Rick and Morty are doing these side stories. Well, Oni Press is publishing Rick and Morty comics, and then they're doing these side stories that sort of show Sleepy Gary and Unity and the Vindicators, and here we have Bird Person origin story. That's from Oni Press. A couple of variants on that. Well, a couple of covers on that. We've got this one by Angela Trizino. Let's see, what else did I like? Okay, this one, when I saw it, was like, wow, my youth. Vampire the Masquerade number 1. From the internationally best-selling World of Darkness universe, Vault brings readers a brand new Vampire the Masquerade comic, Winter's Teeth. When Cecily Brine, a courier for the Twin Cities Camarilla, takes a mysterious younger vampire under her wing, she's dragged into insidious conspiracy. So this is Tim Seeley, Teenie Howard, Blake Howard writers, and various artists. This is a new number 1 about the classic Vampire the Masquerade multimedia empire. Several beautiful covers, such as the David Mack cover. I always loved his art. Very watercolory. I think he worked on also the Fight Club covers, I believe. And then there's a foil version of that cover. I'm not sure where the foil is, or if it's like the whole cover. But yeah, brand new Vampire the Masquerade issue number 1. And that's it for the moment of new issue number 1. Zombie Tramp as usual, the risque cover and so forth, and then like various White Widow books. So there's that one. Yeah, so those are the comics that are part of the final order cutoff date. If you'd like your own copy of these books so that you're guaranteed a cover, so that you're guaranteed an issue, you've got to order them by this Monday, the 13th. Then they'll be published next month. That's how the comic industry works. And so these are the final order cutoffs. You got to order them by this date to get all of the comics that I talked about. Hopefully I revealed to you a variety of comics that you might be interested in. As we wrap up the show, let's look at a few that are going to be on the shelf this Wednesday the 15th, but you're not guaranteed a copy on some of the more popular ones, of course, because these are the ones that are coming out this Wednesday. And if you didn't pre-order them, you might not get a copy. So here's what I'm recommending for this Wednesday. These are the ones that are coming out. So Adventure Man number 2. Over at Image, we got Matt Fraction Terry and Rachel Dodson. I enjoyed issue number 1 a lot. It was like a comic about a classic fictional pulp magazine character, and then the real world with the main character Claire going on right now. A very cool, diverse family of people in this book. The mysterious disappearance of the original Adventure Man gets a little more complicated when, in the modern era, single mom Claire stumbles into his legacy. But with the adventure mantle comes untold dangers from those who would seek to destroy it. So I liked issue 1 a lot. Issue number 2 is coming out this Wednesday from Image Comics. If you want to get the Philadelphia trade paperback, that's coming out. I read issue 1 and I enjoyed it. This has got Jason Sean Alexander art, who works on Spawn. Show-stopping talents of Jason Alexander, and the writer behind such shows as Wu-Tang and American Saga, Marvel's Runaways, and Star's American Gods, Rodney Barnes. When a small-town beat cop Jimmy Sangster returns to his Philadelphia roots to bury his murdered father, he stumbles into a mystery that will lead him down a path of horrors and shake his beliefs to the core. So, the whole trade paperback is out. Issues 1 through 6, coming out this Wednesday. Robert Kirkman's Oblivion Song is coming out. Sonata, Undiscovered Country, trade paperback number 1, covering issues 1 through 6, if you want to binge read that. Like I said, I liked issue 1 up until like the last 2 pages. Maybe the rest were better, but if you're interested in it right here, it's out as a trade. Dark Horse is publishing the final issue of their Stranger Things Into the Fire. And it's just a side story in the world of Stranger Things. It's issue 4 of 4, so you'll be totally lost if you get this one before reading the others. IDW is publishing their Cobra Kai, Karate Kid Saga Continues trade paperback. It doesn't say how many issues are here, but probably the first 6 as usual. Here's some preview art on that. Kind of love that art. So this is from the perspective of the villain. It's Johnny's story. Sonic the Hedgehog Annual is coming out. So if you want like a starting point in the current Sonic universe, you can go here with a bunch of one-shot stories. There's some previews. Happy 2nd anniversary. So they've been publishing Sonic comics for 2 years now at IDW. I've enjoyed them. The art is gorgeous. I love this style of art. This is the style that I wish to create myself. See, look at that. Look how cute big the cat looks. There's Rouge and Shadow. Yeah, I love that art. Okay, so that's coming out there. Over at DC Comics, well, not too many because again, DC is abandoning Diamond. We've got DC Superhero Girls, Weird Science, trade paperback. Amanda Diebert is the writer. Eric Owen is the artist. Yancy Labatt, the cover. That one's coming out. Flash, Wonder Woman, Her Greatest Victories. Those are coming out this Wednesday. Marvel's just got a bunch of trades. So, Amazing Spider-Man. This one collects issues 32 to 36. Ghost Rider number 7, Michael Del Mundo, zombie variant cover, I love that. What does this say right here? Down to the bone. So Ghost Rider has a tattoo on his bone that says down to the bone. So we've got Marauders trade paperback, Marvel Spider-Man posters, Miles Morales omnibus, Savage Sword of Conan omnibus, Star Wars Legends omnibus. This one's been interesting here. They're reprinting X-Men God Loves, Man Kills, extended cut, 1 of 2, with new covers. This was published like in '86, right? When did the original publish? Chris Claremont and Brent Anderson. Over at Dynamite, Deja Thoris is one that I'm reading. Cosplay variant. Boom Studios. So this week is when we've got the Willow number 1, and here's Mirka Andolfo's variant. That's the one I'm gonna get. Mariko Tamaki as the writer, Nacha Bustos as interior artist, and then Mirka Andolfo as cover artist. And then just a quick browse over here. I think I'm losing my voice. I've been talking about too many comics. Agretsuko, of course. All We Ever Wanted were Stories for a Better World, second printing. That's coming out. Always Human graphic novel, season 1, Archangels, Battle Cats, The Brontes, Rick Gary art on that. Here it is, Sumerian Red Nails. This is issue number 2, the Kendrick Lim cover. Looks freaking epic. So again, this is the public domain Conan. A lot of covers on those. Again, here's one of these covers that I'm saying it's like an homage cover. This is, Dark Knight Returns version of it. Got these various trades, high value books, doodle wheels, finger guns, Gold Digger number 1 anniversary edition. I think we'll end right there because I think my voice is dying. So we'll end with Gold Digger number 1, first time in color. It prints the original black and white plus the color one. And it's like a 30th anniversary of Antarctic Press. Shout out to them. And a 35th anniversary. And this is like the classic early Fred Perry Gold Digger comic. So there you go. Those were the comic books that you need to know about. We talked about first the ones that you need to pre-order so that they're available next month. Then we talked about some of the ones that are coming out this week that I'm on the lookout for. I'd love to hear what you're looking out for. Tell me in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, etc. Set the notification bell because I do this every Saturday, 11:30 a.m. We talk about comics. And I'll be back again next Saturday, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time to talk more about comics next time. This has been VM Campos. Thanks for hanging out at the Top Comic Book Picks with VM Campos, and I'll see you next week.